Hi everyone. I hope everyone stayed warm over these freezing few days and that you are warming up today. I wanted to go over my plan for class on Wednesday, my plan for recouping the 2 days of class time that we lost. I want to start with a review of what I needed for you to do to master the material from Chapter 3. This was covered in Wednesday's email. If you did not get Wednesday's email, you need to contact me so I can forward that to you. But basically, I created a documentation outlining steps of things that you needed to work through from our Week 3, Chapter 3 folder on Blackboard. And if you just kind of follow through, I'm identifying what time frames you need to watch from section videos and the order that I think would be best for you to complete them so that you don't get confused. Again, that was all outlined in Wednesday's video. It looks like this, or Wednesday's email. Okay. The next thing that I wanted to point out to you was just go over the outline that I have in our Week 3 folder, which is just packed with materials to help you prepare for the Unit 1 exam over Chapters 1 through 3. The first two items are standard in almost all of my week folders. A link to the textbook, a link to your assignments. The next two things that I have in this folder is a Unit 1 overview study guide and the Unit 1 StatCrunch guide. If I remember right, I have those as the last page or so in your notebook, so you already have them. But that overview gives you a very good overview of the things that we covered in Chapter 1 and 2, as well as what you covered on your own in Chapter 3. So definitely take a look at that, get yourself re-familiar with those things. Then the last thing on StatCrunch guide, truthfully, we did everything by hand in 2.1 and 2.2 in class. That is not so much needed other than possibly to help you get through some of your homework. But Section 3.1, measures of central tendency, and Section 3.2, measures of variation. I know that I posted a video where you are using summary stats in StatCrunch. Definitely you need to know how to do that. You will have access to StatCrunch for all of our in-class exams. The last thing on Section 3.3, we did that I did it in a video. You're going to need to do that on paper, so you're not going to really be doing that in StatCrunch, although you might for some of your homework if that's what you choose to do. So I just wanted to remind you of those things. So those things are posted there. The next thing that's posted is the formula page. And the formula page is going to look like this. For all of your in-class exams, I will always give you a formula page. You do not need to memorize formulas. The first one on this particular formula sheet is the formula for finding the sample mean, the formula for finding the sample standard deviation. You will need to show and demonstrate on an exam that you know how to use that formula. So we really outlined that in our notes. The video on the men's soccer players was where I demonstrated that. Also, you need to do several problems where you're using the Z-score formula. I know that I included a video on Z-score practice. All of those examples would be very important to make sure you understand. Then the last few things here are items that you would need in order to create a box plot. And yes, on the exam you will need to do a box plot problem for me, and I demonstrated that also in a video. So back to our Week 4 folder. So you will have a copy of that formula sheet so you can know what to expect. I also put together a PowerPoint that I kind of overlook it because it's all vocabulary, and to me that's not statistics, but a lot of students really liked that vocabulary to review, so I posted that, and I do want to talk about what that might look like. Okay, so when you boot that up and you start clicking through the different slides, it's pretty basic information, just going over those formulas again. But I would encourage you to download it to your machine, go to Slideshow in PowerPoint, and then from the beginning, and it's going to change how this looks on the screen, but it'll present on your screen, and as you click through and roll through on your mouse, it will present one line at a time. In this case, it's presenting a question. I want you to think about it, and then it provides the answer. Then the next question, and then clicking through, you find the answer. You get to this page here where I have different vocabulary and different scenarios that demonstrate that vocabulary. I want you to read each scenario here and try to identify which term it's referring to. And then if you follow your, click the mouse, it will provide the answer. So students have found that to be a good review of Chapter 1 information. So I want to show you that that is there to help you. And then the last two things I think are what you're really going to like. I have posted a test from last fall, 2017, the test that I gave students, as well as the answer key. And so the test looks like this. Your test that you will take on Unit 1 will look pretty similar. You're going to have, it starts out with a problem on finding the mean and standard deviation, and then moving on to a couple problems on utilizing z-score, and then comparing z-scores from data from two different populations, and then a box plot problem. So this is a very, very good review. I've had students to immediately print this out 2 or 3 times, practice it as much as they want. Then they can check their work. I gotta remember where I have this. I've posted the answer key. The very last thing that you will see is the answer key to this test. So this is a very thorough review. It allows you to be pretty independent in preparing well for the in-class exam. Okay, so back to week 4. That's all the material that I have there to help you prepare for Unit 1 exam. I will have a folder very much like this for each exam that we take. Okay, so that kind of catches you up on week 3, week 4. What I plan to do in class on Wednesday is a fast overview of the items in your note pack from Chapter 3, just reviewing those examples and discussions there that I want you to really master from Chapter 3. I'm going to make the in-class exam for Unit 1 a take-home exam, simply because I do not want to give up any more class time. So you kind of get a bonus there, but your in-class exam will be a take-home exam. The online component I will release in class on Wednesday. That will be due by midnight on Saturday, February 9th. I would love it if you would have it done before then, but I'm trying to give everybody plenty of time. I don't want to punish you just because we had 2 days where we were not able to meet. The last thing that we're going to do on Wednesday, I'm hoping the second half of class period we can actually move forward and get started with some of the information in Unit 2, starting out with Chapter 4 on probability. So again, as usual, if you have any questions, please email me. I do remember someone did have a question in the completed notes. That's something I forgot to point out. In week 4, I've got this Unit 1 note pack completed. I know that I also sent that in Wednesday's email, but you also have access to it there. Back to the completed notes. A student asked, what did I mean by this above the average of the squares of differences of all data values from the mean? That is just a verbal definition for variance. Students have a hard time wrapping their head around variance, and I don't think you should have to worry about wrapping your head around it, because we are not going to deal with variance a whole lot until well into our second half of the term. But this is just a verbal definition. If you think about it down here, if I would square both sides of this, actually variance is what's inside underneath this radical sign here. It's the sum of all the squared differences between data values and the mean for that data set, divided by the number of values. So it's just the average of that sum, which is what I'm stating up here. So that's all that is. No worries there.